What's up, guys? I'm back after 3-4 months of not posting any videos. I decided that I almost did one for UFC 267, but I just ran out of time and forgot about it. And that's basically been the story the past 3-4 months, where I just don't give myself the time to do it. But here we go. But speaking of UFC 257, I did pretty good. I hit 12 out of 14. The two that I missed was I missed Blachowicz. I picked Blachowicz to win by knockout round 2. He lost by submission round 2. And then I picked Saint Denis to win, and that was the only one I lost. So what a crazy fight, and what a crazy upset for I did not think Teixeira had what it take to beat Blachowicz, but whatever. And then and you don't have to take my word for it. I will post the I'll leave a link to my Instagram, and then you can see the results there for yourself. But anyways, back to this one. So UFC 268, the rematch, Kamaru Usman and Kobe Covington, number 2. This is one of those fights that I have been waiting for this one for ever since the fight happened. It's one of those fights that I just cannot wait until, it basically we have a final, final word. Basically, Kobe has been talking shit for almost 2 years now, or however long it's been. He's putting excuses that it was the referee, and then he was winning the fight, which is absolutely ridiculous. So let's get into that one. So first, let's talk about the first fight, right? To this day, I see comments from people saying, "Oh, Kobe was clearly winning that fight," and I'm like, "What are you talking about? What fight were you watching?" There's absolutely, unless you're extremely a fanboy, you cannot sit here and say that Kobe was clearly winning that fight. Round 1 was competitive, but I would say, yes, Kobe took it. Round 2 was also competitive, but you can argue Usman took it, so that's 1-1. Round 3, Usman clearly won that round. That's the round where he busted his jaw, and Kobe went to his corner saying, "I have a broken jaw," or "I think I broke my jaw." So that's 2-1 Usman. Round 4 was also competitive, but I can see the argument that Kobe took it. So that's 2-2 going into the 5th round. And Usman was clearly winning round 5. I mean, he had dropped him twice. He could potentially, have made it a 10-8 round. So, yeah, anyone that says Kobe was winning that fight and that he was going to win had it gone to decision, you either don't remember the fight or you're just biased. Because he was not clearly winning that fight. He won 2 rounds, but no, he wasn't winning that. And then, it's a fight with a lot of controversy because people have people say Usman faked a nut shot. So I watched it just recently, a few days ago, just to remind myself. It was round 2. So yes, clearly if you look at it, the kick doesn't land in his nuts. However, and this is being unbiased here, it landed close enough where it probably pulled Usman's cup. So maybe to Usman it felt like a nut shot. But that was round 2. That was the round that Usman was winning. For anyone to say that, if you really watch it, it's not like Usman was about to get finished and then he faked a nut shot. No, he was doing very well. So, and then the eye poke, that one is weird because, again, if you watch the fight and you see the replay, clearly his finger went into his eye, but it does look like he was closing the other eye. So it is a little bit contradicting, right? But no, you cannot say that there was no eye poke. There was an eye poke. His finger went in his eye. And then the one thing that people do not talk about is that Kobe faked an eye poke too at the end of round 3, right when Usman busted his jaw, and it was clearly straight right to the jaw, and Kobe fakes the eye poke. Even DC and Rogan said that was clearly a punch to the jaw. There was no eye poke there. So yeah, some people have selective memory, but it's the thing when it comes to MMA and UFC. But for this one, I'm picking Usman to win. This is one of those fights where I might eat my words, and I'm prepared to eat my words, but I don't think it's going to be competitive. I think that Usman has improved a lot since that fight, and you can see it in his Masvidal fight and his Burns fight. The fight with Burns, other than a few early punches from Burns, Usman dominated him, destroyed him, and then finished him. And the second fight with Masvidal, he dominated Masvidal. He went out there to stand up and strike with him, which was interesting because all these people said that Usman was going to do to him what he did to him the first time. And yeah, so what happened? Clearly he didn't do that. He went out there to strike with Masvidal and knocked him out. You think Colby would have gone there to play stand-up with Masvidal? I don't think so. He would have out-grappled him into a decision. So that's Usman's last fight. Masvidal, he won by TKO, knocked him out, brutal. Colby's last win was Tyron Woodley, which is, I mean, it's something that I mentioned. I made a comment. If you think about it, what's Colby's biggest win? It's Tyron Woodley. Really. Some people argue RDA. But I think Tyron Woodley, who has lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of his last 6. So, and not even like close fights. You know, he got destroyed by this Luke, dominated by Covington, completely destroyed by Burns, completely dominated by Burns and Usman. So to beat Woodley, there's really nothing, nothing special to it. But that's Kobe's best win, unless you want to argue is Rafael dos Anjos. But yeah, I don't see this being competitive. I think Usman will knock him out round 2. So Usman TKO, KO TKO round 2. Before that is Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. If you remember my videos from the past, I'm always bad when it comes to women's MMA. I can never get a read on them. It's always like, whatever I think is going to happen, it goes the other way. But I am picking Namajunas to win round 2. And the reason is because I believe he has way more training, better training in the USA. I believe that the coaches and the people that she surrounds herself with are way better than anything that Weili Zhang has in China. It is a rematch, just like Kamaru and Covington. This is a rematch. Except the difference is this is literally back to back. So last time they fought, fight lasted a little over a minute. Rose showed that she was fast, and she was able to move in and out and land her shots. And eventually she landed that nice head kick that knocked out Zhang. When you see it at first, it kind of looks like it was stopped fast, but once they play the slow motion, yeah, she was out. She was out, and she was gonna eat a lot more shots. I thought it was a good stoppage. But it's when you compare similar opponents, right? Weili Zhang destroyed Jessica Andrade, and then Namajunas lost to her once, and then pulled a split decision, which I thought was crazy. I thought she clearly won that one. But then Rose, dominated Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Weili Zhang pulled a split decision against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. So it's funny how MMA math proves that MMA math doesn't work. But anyways, I'm picking Rose Namajunas TKO round 2. Before that is Frankie Edgar and Marlon Vera. Marlon Vera is coming. Frankie Edgar is coming from getting knocked out in 28 seconds by Corin Sanhagen, flying knee. A little over a year ago, he pulled a split decision over Pedro Munoz. Before that, he got destroyed by Chen Sung Young, and before that, he got dominated by Max Holloway. Marlon Vera on the other side, the last 2 times he lost, they were actually very competitive fights. And to this day, a lot of people think that he won against Song Yadong, but a lot of people think it was a robbery. I would have to rewatch it. I don't want to, but I remember it was very competitive. And I was surprised because I thought Yadong would dominate him. And his last loss was to Aldo, which, if you go and watch it, round 3, Aldo had to rely on grappling. When have you ever seen Aldo try to out grapple someone into a decision. I have never seen it except for this one time against Marlon Vera. That just shows you the respect that Aldo had towards Vera's stand up. I'm picking Vera on this one. Frankie is 40 years old. For the 145 division, that is all. I know there's guys like Glover Teixeira, but yeah, I think Frank Riega is done. I think he should have retired with his win against Pedro Munoz. Marlon Vera, I don't think he's a guy that he's gonna be able to outpace at work and anything like that. I have been surprised though by Frankie Edgar in the past. However, it's been a long time. Like, I thought Cub Swanson would beat him, and that was 3.5 years ago. So yeah, I mean, age catches up. The Frankie Edgar used to rely on speed, moving in and out, and at 40 years old, 145, does he still have that? I don't think so. So I have Vera by decision. Then Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. I have Shane Burgos by KO or TKO round 2. Burgos is coming from a really nice fight against Edson Barboza that had one of the weirdest knockouts I've ever seen. If you've seen that fight, if you haven't seen it, I recommend you go watch it. It's like Barboza's punch had lag because he landed a punch and it was like 4 seconds later that Burgos got knocked out. Barboza didn't even have to follow it up. That's how weird it was. All the punches were unnecessary. Barboza could have just stayed there and the referee would have stopped that fight because Burgos was out. Barboza put a beating on him round 1. Round 2, Burgos kind of catch. I think round 2 won at Burgos, and then so it was 1-1 going to the third one, and then Barboza just knocked him out on the third one. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight. Quarantillo is coming from beating Gabriel Benitez, where his grappling is what did the difference. He landed some good shots standing up, but it was the grappling that did it for me. I don't think he's going to be able to out-grapple Burgos. I think it's going to be a stand-up battle, and I'm not impressed by building Quarantillo as a stand-up. I think he's going to go there and he's going to get completely outboxed by Burgos. And Burgos coming from 2 losses in a row, 2 pretty bad ones against Emmett and Barboza. He's going to come motivated. I mean, usually guys when they're in this position where they do not want to have 3 losses in a row. So Burgos by TKO round 2. And then we also have and then Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. I'm running out of time here. I have 2 minutes. So Gaethje is coming from his loss to Khabib. It's interesting, he is the last guy Khabib fought. So I think that's a cool thing to have on your resume. Where he got out-pressured, outpaced, and eventually submitted. Before that, he put a beating on Tony. Chandler's coming from a loss to Oliveira that he almost won. If you've seen that fight, you know what I'm talking about. And before that, he knocked out Hooker. I talk about Chandler, him being a very basic but effective striker, because that's really what he is. Jab, jab, straight. Jab, jab, overhand, hook. Jab, jab, overhand, left hook. But he lands. That's the thing. So a very basic but effective striker. And what he has shown in his fight is that he always connects. That's the thing. He connected against Hooker. Obviously, he knocked him out. He connected against Oliveira, and I was convinced they were about to stop the fight. But Oliveira survived. Gaethje is not exactly an unhittable guy. This is a guy that gets hit. And in his last fight versus Khabib, he showed a bit of recklessness. So I'm picking the underdog here, not confident at all. It's like 55-45, but I'm picking Chandler by KO round 1. So real quick summary: Usman KO or TKO round 2. Namajunas KO or TKO round 2. Marlon Vera by decision. Shane Burgos also by KO or TKO round 2. And then Chandler by knockout round 1. Alright guys, thank you. Have a good one. Oh, and I will post my all my picks on my Instagram for the entire card. And I'll leave it on the description of this video. Alright, thank you.